What's going on YouTube? Wild Lion Games here, and I'm bringing you an honest review of Madden 26. With a contract renewal on the horizon between EA and the NFL, EA is pulling out all the stops to make this their best Madden yet. So they say. With updated weather effects, pre-game presentation, weekly recap shows, major updates to physics, player animations, new features in Superstar mode, and more, this all sounds good on paper, but as we know, I trust their marketing team about as far as I can throw them. In this review, I will break down the graphics, sound, presentation, gameplay, franchise mode, career mode, and then provide my final verdict. I will use examples to illustrate what I'm talking about and compare it with other titles when appropriate. This is a thorough review that will cover a ton of information, so let's dive in. Don't you just love how when you launch Madden, the first thing you see is a Ultimate Team pop-up, and then when you exit out and you get to the main menu, it's just Ultimate Team being shoved right in your face again. It's very clear what the devs actually care about. Graphics up first, and always the shorter section. It's much of the same here. To me, Madden looks great when it comes to stadium environments and lighting and textures. You know, the stitching on the jerseys, the metallic paint and reflections on the helmet, even the detail in the cleats. Stadium atmosphere looks awesome with excellent lighting, but speaking of lighting, I'm disappointed in the lack of dynamic lighting in Madden 26. Especially since it was a feature in College Football 26, you'd think that these departments would want to help each other out and share assets where needed. But no, Madden devs can't handle the dynamic lighting, I guess. The heavy snow looks pretty sweet, but in the end, the snow on the field is just a new paint job. It doesn't actually get displaced at any point in the game, and the heavy wind and fog doesn't affect the trajectory of kicks or passes. Remember that Patriots windy game a few years ago?
Severe winds, gusts to 50 miles.
The player uniforms get dirty too, but they all have matching dirty uniforms. The jerseys only get dirty in the same spots for everyone. And the player models, well, you know, they still look terrible on and off the field. Sound and music. The soundtrack for Madden 26 boasts a great mix of new songs and old hits. In the Club, Snap Your Fingers, Freak on a Leash, Machine Head, Party Up, just to name a few. And they've added new hits like Kendrick Lamar's TV Off or Linkin Park Emptiness Machine. This is one of the better soundtracks Madden has put together in recent memory, and with a wider variety of hip-hop, rock, pop, and country. Now the sounds of the game are disappointing. Commentary is as bland as ever, and the stadium atmosphere is flat with a crowd that seems bored of the game they're attending.
Looking to throw, Purdy. He won't risk something here and just chucks it away.
And then they can make a big play. You know, they create a play, run after catch. They did a really nice job here of limiting that and keeping him from a first down.
Yeah, stopped him in his tracks. And he's got the first before he's brought down at the 30.
Even big-time moments like trying to stop the opponent from a big third down conversion in the fourth quarter receives a low rumble through the TV speakers and deadpan commentary from all of the broadcast teams.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Middle of the field to Jefferson.
Where College Football 26 shines with personality and stadium sounds and atmosphere, Madden 26 feels several iterations behind, and the audio recordings of in-stadium chants are worse than like cell phone footage I've seen on YouTube. It's very tinny with no oomph.
In front of the home crowd.
The whole atmosphere and sound on game day just feels stale, and I guess it's just never been more apparent than when you compare it side by side to College Football 26.
Burn this defensive back. And the deep shot is complete inside the 35-yard line. Touchdown, Hokies!
Now it's Purdy. And this time they're going to get to him before he can get that pass away as he goes down.
And this segues us into presentation. EA promoted the hell out of their improvements for presentation this year, and even though they actually did make updates and changes to this year's presentation, it still isn't up to standards with modern times. The Scott Hansen Weekly Recap is a disappointing and uninspiring highlight reel, and there will be a ton of people out there saying, hey, it's a start, or this is a great foundation to build from.
Get the out of here.
But these are the things we say every year. Every year it's a good foundation to build from, but all EA is doing is just building foundation without adding any structure. The audio commentary is awful and unnaturally spaced out.
Next up, how about a trip to Vegas, everybody? Checking in on the Raiders as they host the Tennessee Titans. And this is Geno Smith. He went for more than 300 yards passing, including this, one of his 3 touchdowns through the air.
And this is no fault of Scott. This is a programming problem that we somehow can't have smooth and fluid sentence structure with pre-built dialogue boxes. Sometimes the commentary is so slow that it's several seconds behind, sometimes a full play behind, what is actually happening on the visual replay.
49ers. And it's Brock Purdy hooking up with the Florida product, Ricky Pearsall. Beautiful throw to the back of the end zone. It's a touchdown. The 49ers had a lot of roster turnover in the offseason, but they get the win in the season opener.
And to continue with the individual game presentation, NBA Live, an EA product, has better pre-game, halftime, and post-game shows than Madden ever has. So look at this in NBA Live 18. You can view the top plays from the half, who's hot, who's cold, box score information, and it's all in that old school SportsCenter inspired layout, and you can cycle through the different sections you don't want to watch to skip ahead. The weekly recap in franchise mode also lacks substance. It's quite literally another halftime show. It's 3 random plays from games around the league, and that's it. There's no players of the week, no box scores, no injury reports, no team standings, no trade information, and even as you approach the playoffs, there's no playoff picture. EA truly did the bare minimum here by just taking the halftime show, plugging in Scott Hansen's voice, and that's it. Here you go. It's 3 plays with new team skins over top of it, a new voiceover, and boom, there's your weekly recap. Yes, the pregame cinematics are 100% better than we've seen the last few years of Madden, probably the best pregame we've had since Madden 12, but it's still mediocre when you compare it to Madden 11 and Madden 12 and some of 2K's titles over the years. Gameplay. Ultimately, this is what everyone wants to know, and it's what makes or breaks the fun factor of any video game. You know, when I hopped on my first game, I always play as the Jags because it's the only way I'll ever see them win a Super Bowl. And I got frustrated during this play, but then quickly excited because we all know that Trevor Lawrence has accuracy issues on his mid-range balls. And I was like, oh my god, you know, did they finally make quarterback accuracy realistic with bad throws for once? Because this happened a few times in my game versus the Titans, and I was frustrated, but I couldn't really be mad because I was like, yeah, you know what? Like, Trevor does miss throws like that every now and then. But then I hopped in the game with the Commanders, and I played as a QB like Jaden Daniels, and he sails the ball over a 5-yard hook route with 0 pressure in the pocket. And I was like, oh, well, I guess obviously it's just a dice roll as to when this happens, because yes, this Jaden Daniels example only happened once versus like the mini Trevor examples from one game, but the dice roll scenario just didn't make sense. NFL starters that are taking their teams to the playoffs aren't overthrowing 5-yard hook routes in a clean pocket with an open receiver, so that part just didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. I'm also struggling with the run game in Madden 26 as it somehow the game has gone backwards in this department to that Madden 23-24 gluey feeling around the line of scrimmage where the run blocking doesn't have any sort of fluidity to it, which makes reading holes and cutback lanes really hard. And the QB to halfback handoff animation takes way too long to get out of, and so that gap is closed before you even regain control of the running back. Madden 26 has physics and tackling problems, and I will get to those in a minute with examples of what frustrates me, but let's talk about the positives first. The player movement itself feels the best it has in a Madden game in over 10 years, and I may get chastised for this, but I think Madden 26 gameplay is better than College Football 26 gameplay, and the gameplay problems that occur in Madden aren't as blatantly bad as College Football 26 problems. I have a laundry list of College Football 26 examples where the game cheats you out of a situation, and I showed some of these examples in my review, and I'm showing some of them here now too. And Madden 26 also has a lot of issues, but you'll see here when I show them they aren't as dramatic as they are in college football. And for my first example here, I'm going to complete this pass to Parker Washington, but you can see something funny goes on between him and Travis Hunter as the two guys run into each other. Ideally, what you would want to see happen in this situation is an incomplete pass, but instead, we get this sort of like computer animation where the pass has to be completed, and Travis Hunter like warps, 5 yards down the field, and Parker Washington just kind of glides forward to catch the ball. And example number 2 here is watch the handoff and how long it takes to get this ball to the running back. And the reason why is because if you look at Travis Etienne's feet, he's not even moving forward until Trevor Lawrence is completely turned around with the ball. And by this time, my lead blocker, he's ready to blow through the line of scrimmage, and Travis Etienne hasn't even taken a step forward yet. The big issue I have is we're somehow in the year 2025 and we don't have proper gang tackling. I can sit here and show you a million examples. In fact, I can probably make a 20-minute long video with zero commentary, only showing highlights of poor tackling and lack of physics from this single Titans-Jags game. It's not that I think the guys breaking tackles are unrealistic, it's just that the player collisions don't look good. When you get into a pile of players, it just turns into this gross jumbled mess of players falling all over the place. And when you slow down tackles involving multiple defenders, you can see where the game's animations take over the physics part. Physics aren't being used in Madden the way they are advertising they're being used. Everything is still triggering an animation, and that's why you have players with no momentum falling forward instead of backwards, or defenders wrapped around a defender but then kind of stand up out of position and fall backwards because their teammate came in and triggered another tackle animation, and it's either the Frostbite engine can't handle both or the programmers can't do it. It's one of the two, and honestly, it's embarrassing. If I was EA and I'm promoting gameplay as being physics-driven animations, I would be embarrassed because none of this looks good. Luckily for them, the player movement feels good, so it's saved a little bit by that. It's much better than that slow, blocky feeling from the Madden 23, 24, 25 era. And in the open field, Madden plays great. One-on-one situations, two-on-one situations outside the hashes and open field play out very nicely, but that's such a small percentage of plays in the grand scheme of things. Just like college football, Madden suffers from the same issues that, despite having these sim elements being added in, like more realistic quarterback throwing animations, custom stems, disguising coverages, and lineman stunts, the game itself just has poor programming and oftentimes creates a frustrating experience. Franchise mode. Franchise mode is one of the fan favorites that has seen a lot of down years with so many features coming in and out, it's hard to keep track of. This year's biggest removal is owner mode. It just doesn't exist at all. There's no option to mess with concession prices or merch sales or ticket prices. You can't even upgrade or renovate stadium sections. I have mixed feelings about this because it was such a shallow feature in the first place that it felt tacked on just to check a box in the boardroom, but nonetheless, it's important to note that it is no longer in the game in Madden 26. Franchise mode did, however, make some hefty changes to weekly goals, coach skills, play sheets, and scenarios. And the UI in franchise mode this time around is cleaner and easier to navigate than in years past, which is a welcoming change. Coach skills have a more direct impact on the game, and the RPG elements have a good balance to them, where you can unlock new abilities as you level up, and you can unlock more boxes to load up more abilities in a single game. I also like how your coach abilities can be upgraded or downgraded depending on if you complete the objective of that ability. Failing the objective can cause your gold tier to drop to a silver, and completing the objective, obviously vice versa, can go from bronze to silver to gold to platinum. The game plan screen is also really nice and provides you with information such as the type of scheme your opponents are running, any mismatches or injuries to be aware of, and player stats, and you can use all this information when deciding your play sheets for the week and your coach ability layouts to attack their weaknesses or combat their strengths. Play sheets are new in franchise mode for Madden 26, and while it doesn't change your overall playbook, it does provide boosts to those plays that fall into that play sheet category. And the higher tier level your play sheet is, the stronger boost you get. And you can upgrade it by either purchasing it with the coach points, or you can complete the objectives and upgrade the tier that way. You can also manage the abilities of your coaching staff, the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and trainer. The trainer primarily focuses on injury prevention and recovery, but your offensive and defensive coordinators can help fill in the holes of game planning and abilities where your head coach lacks. And you also don't have to use everyone's abilities. You can load up your 3 ability slots with all defense to give your defense a really strong boost across the board for the upcoming week. And as your head coach levels up, you unlock more ability slots so that you can use more than 3 from week to week. In the season storylines and scenarios this year in Madden 26 have improved their logic, like this example with Tank Bigsby where he thinks that he should deserve a starting role, so he set a game goal for him. He ended up not meeting that game goal, but then the following week, instead of the scenario just disappearing like it did in games past, it actually had a follow-up meeting with Tank Bigsby, and he's like, hey, I still don't want this to be the last shot that I get at earning the starting spot, so what should I work on? And it's these little interactions like this that I think are what EA was going for with the scenarios in the first place, and I'm glad to see that they've finally found the improvement they deserve. And while that's all really nice and brings a nice RPG element to franchise mode, this does bring me to the negative aspects of franchise mode, and these have to deal with sim stats, stat tracking, and player XP inconsistencies. For example, the game doesn't track Travis Hunter's stats on offense and defense throughout his career. It shows up in the box score of the game, you know, his receptions on offense, what he did on defense, but when you go to his season and career stats, everything on offense is 0. It only keeps the defense, which makes 0 sense. Loading in and out of player cards takes forever. I just complimented the layout of UI, but my one complaint is it literally takes 4 or 5 seconds to load into a player card. This is unacceptable. And for sim stats, I pulled up the last 5 years of NFL stats on Pro Football Reference, and I simmed 5 years of Madden so we could take a look at the difference. Right off the bat, I saw 2 issues. One is Justin Jefferson's numbers drop big time the moment that franchise mode begins in Madden. He doesn't see the volume of catches nor the yards per receptions he averages either. Ashton Jeanty is consistently averaging over 5 yards a carry each season, but he's never in the top because the Raiders are only giving him the ball 10 times a game, which I don't know, no one's surviving giving your RB1 10 touches in a game. QB stats are the same. Interceptions are always low, touchdown passes are high, and the 5K or high 4,000 yard seasons almost never happen. Scouting college prospects in Madden 26 hasn't changed either. It's still the week-by-week setup of assigning scouts to different regions. Each region has their own strengths and weaknesses at different positions, and then your scouts also have these 3 and 2 and 1 star ratings. One area in franchise mode I think they can improve is adding a staff budget. Because right now when it comes to scouting, you have your 3-star, your 2-star, and a couple 1-star scouts. And when you fire a 1-star scout, you can only replace him with another 1-star. You can't get another 2-star. So the stars have to match. So no matter what, you always have only one 3-star scout, only one 2-star scout, and everybody else is a 1-star. And then the same thing goes for your offense and defensive coordinators. Like there's no salary or budget to managing your staff. So if you have like a level 3 offensive coordinator, you can fire them and then just go hire someone who has more abilities unlocked and who's higher up. And there's nothing that you have to negotiate here. I also don't like that you can't view the free agency, if you will, of available staff before firing who you have. That also, you wouldn't just fire someone and then be like, okay, let me go look to see who's out there. It's more like, oh, there's some guys out there I'm interested in. I'm going to get rid of my offensive coordinator and go after one of them. But all of this being said, this is the most enjoyable franchise mode has been in a long time. It feels close to a true, football RPG in a way because of all the things they have done with the weekly goals and the play sheets and the coaching abilities and how you get to move those around week to week. So it's a really fun experience, but it still has a lot of areas that they can improve and truly make it different than it has been before. Superstar mode. Superstar mode received improvements for Madden 26. The NFL combine drills and player creation in the beginning is the same as it has been, and so are the positions you can play. Nothing has changed there, so I didn't even bother customizing my player. The pre-draft interview questions have improved a little bit, and I honestly think it's the best it's been since like the Xbox PS2 days when you had to answer these like BS questions from the media about what team you would want to play for and what stadium you admire. The questions in Madden 26 actually have some relevance to them, and I would argue it's implemented better than it was in the Madden 06-07 years. Plus, you can be like Deshaun Watson and prepare your body with a yoga instructor in the offseason. No, hold on, wait, that's my yoga? Never mind, pause. How do I go back? The draft logic still doesn't make a whole lot of sense, as the Falcons draft a first-round quarterback a year after they drafted a first-round quarterback, Michael Penix Jr. I just don't see an NFL team drafting a quarterback in the top 10 2 years in a row. The draft day cinematics are the exact same. It's like this awkward silence when you get drafted with no fans cheering, no music. Roger Goodell doesn't say anything. It's just weird. The newest feature is the Circle of Influence. In the NFL, you're surrounded by a variety of people, from teammates to coaches, your agent, media members, fans, and more. And in Madden 26, they introduce an element of balancing these relationships. Each week, you have an activity to choose from, such as going to a podcast after a game or signing autographs in the parking lot. The three things I appreciate about this feature is, one, that it doesn't eat up unnecessary time with long cutscenes and loading times. Two, it's functional, aka these choices you make end up having an impact as they unlock abilities that can either help you or harm you. It's not just button pressing to stay busy between games. And then three, the features actually work correctly. Unlike College Football 26 Road to Glory, where your coach becomes upset as your GPA increases, or you win the Heisman as a sophomore, but then junior year you're a third string running back. Like, there's just so many bugs in that mode, and Superstar mode is far more enjoyable in every way simply because it works. The Circle of Influence is a nice addition because I believe you need these types of elements in a career mode. Superstar mode is supposed to be that RPG element of sports games, and what makes RPGs so much fun, or one of the things, is all of the stuff you can do that exists outside of the core gameplay and storyline. It's the side quests, the characters you meet, the mini games, the relationships you build, and it's the decisions you make and how the NPCs react and treat you accordingly. You can look at the Fallout series, Cyberpunk, Mass Effect, The Witcher 3, and those games you get to be a part of the world. You own an apartment, you play Gwent at the tavern, and in all of these games you earn currency to buy and upgrade new items to help you out. And that's ultimately what's missing in Superstar mode to make it complete. It's the lack of opportunities to sign or not sign someone's autograph after the game. It's the lack of signing sneaker deals with Nike or Under Armour and having it mean something more than just a vanity checklist. College Football 26 has the right idea with the limited number of hours per week you can do something, forcing you to choose between working out or studying or mentoring a teammate, but it's just a button-pressing menu to keep you busy between games, and then, like I said, it doesn't even function properly in the first place. But this is where we need to go further. We've had Superstar mode for 19 years now. When the game is over and the clock hits 0, give me some post-game actions. Am I jersey swapping with anyone? Am I shaking hands with the opponent, or am I walking off the field? Am I answering interviews, or am I declining to speak and taking a fine? During the week, give me several options for each day. Am I rehabbing to erase my wear and tear on a Tuesday, or am I going out to dinner with teammates to improve locker room morale? Superstar mode needs to feel like an entirely different game, not just a mini game within Madden. Outside of the Circle of Influence right now, Superstar mode is similar to what it's been in the past with a teammate grade and contract earnings. But the contract you sign is still worthless because your salary or blue coins don't actually provide you with anything in Superstar mode. In another EA title, NHL, their career mode has a salary you earn, but you can use that salary to make purchases that improve the life of your player. Personal trainers to a home gym, a new house, you can even invest the money. And it plays two parts in NHL. One, it's a way to make, living the life of an NHL player feel more realistic, and you get to make these purchases, but these purchases also come with perks that help you on the ice. And I don't understand why we don't have something like this in Madden Superstar mode yet, unless the only reason is the devs just don't care enough in the Madden division. Superstar mode used to be a blast. When it first dropped 19 years ago, we were doing pre-draft interviews, combine prep, 2-a-day workouts and training camp. You could even star in movies and commercials, and you had a choice in who your agent was, and as you got better, you could fire your old agent and hire a new one, and they provided access to new opportunities. We don't have any of that stuff right now. I like the Circle of Influence, and it's a fun addition, but for the life of me, I don't know how this mode hasn't improved in almost 20 years than when it first appeared to us. So, as you guys know, I rate my games on an obscure scale that doesn't follow any real numbers or grading system. So, how do I rate Madden 26? I give it How I Met Your Mother. Robin is Ted's first love, and he cares a lot about her, more so than she does him. And despite Ted's friends telling him to stay away because she can be manipulative and the relationship doesn't work, Ted just keeps going back, and he tries to make it work, and Robin does for a little bit, but ultimately reverts back to her old habits. And basically, we are all Ted Mosby. You, me, we are all Ted. We're getting back with that old fling who our friends tell us to stay away from because she's manipulative, but she's like, no, I've improved, I'm a different person now. And we just keep trying to make this relationship work, but it's not connecting. And even after they do make small changes, for a short period of time, those changes go away and they revert back to them old selves. And ultimately, we're just filling in this space looking for our Tracy. So that's Madden 26, you know, it's like, yeah, guess what, you did it. You changed presentation, but really, it took this long. You know, they updated presentation for the first time in years, and they add a new feature to Superstar Mode, but at its core, it's still a shallow reenactment of football. And it's tough. We want to like the game, and I don't think the game is necessarily bad this year. I think anybody telling you that Madden 26 is completely awful or that Madden 26 is incredible and it's amazing, I think both sides are full of it. This game is somewhere in between. Like, it does some things well, it does a lot of things wrong, and despite all the positives I have to say about this game, we just can't be doing this anymore. We can't be playing this game of, this is a good foundation to start from, this is a good place to start from. Like, we have to stop. As consumers, you can't do that. Like, it's time for someone else to make a football game. I'm not saying it has to be 2K. My final message is, just don't buy the game. It's that simple. Just don't buy it. Especially not new. You know, if you really need it, if you need that football fix, download some 26 rosters on Madden 25 or something like that. In all seriousness, that's my core message is, yes, Madden 26, it's okay. It's a decent football game. But it's not the one. It's like some of Ted's relationships in How I Met Your Mother. You know, yeah, it's fun. It has its moments, but ultimately those relationships quickly run their course once you realize there's no depth to them. So that's it for me, guys. Hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below if you liked it. I know it ran long, but there's just a lot of things to discuss and provide examples. And I feel like the best way to discuss it is by showing you examples instead of just saying like, "Oh yeah, gameplay is bad." You know, I'd like to actually show why I think it's bad or why I think it's good. So anyways, that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more Madden, college football, 2K content. It's all coming on this channel. So until next time, peace.